Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Review Time with Imperial. Let's get into it. This is Season 5, Power, Episode 8, A Friend of the Family. This episode is the best episode in Power history. This makes me get that feeling of back in the day when The Wire season 3 or 4, I think it was about season 3, moments after the episode we used to be like, yo, Wire is the realest show on TV. This episode gave me that feeling. This gave me that feeling of, yo, the way everything played out. And on this one, the writers got it right. The writers got it right on this one. They I had a feeling, I don't know if I put this in another one of my other videos, how I was saying how they was writing Tariq's character. And like if you write um if a actor or actress is being right in a taking on roles that could brand mess their career up, and I think I spoke about this in another video, that they had to change the narrative writing for this Tariq's character. So they did. It came full circle, and very pleased with the episode. Dynamic episode. So let's get into it. So you have Tommy and Keisha meeting up for dinner with Teresi and his wife. Now, it's always been like a stereotype with Italians, how they look down on black people. They look at black people as the help. And so when Teresi's wife comes into Tommy's house, he uh she asks him pretty much like, did you hire a cook? You know what I mean? So that's an insult, but that just showed where their mind frame was, not knowing that Keisha was his actual girl and that's who he was talking about. So in the course of dinner, they're speaking of pretty much like, hey, she's asking Keisha, would she be down if shit hit the fan? Like if you gotta take the stand, what you gonna do? How you gonna act? Because the line of work these men is in, it may come to that, and it comes full circle if Keisha's ready for that life. And Tommy back there pretty much said, we already been through some stuff. You know what I'm saying? She's a rider pretty much, and then they like whatever that means, 'cause they looking different or whatever. Teresi looking suspect because he know he ain't loyal in this situation. He know he on some creep type time. So from there, after the dinner, they reach back to Tasha's place, and a knock comes on the door, and pretty much Keisha was served for subpoena to go speak on a grand jury to the whereabouts of the alibi in reference to Tasha and them at the wake. So from there, she's paranoid, and she pretty much looking at Tommy, well, this basically why you got back with me, so I can whatever. And he like, no, it's not about that. It's, we gotta save the family or whatever. But in the process of saving the family, we gotta do this, and then we be done with Keisha, and we'll be done with Tasha and Ghost situation. Then it be us. So we move on to Dre, who's introducing his number 2 Christopher, he introducing him with the lady so that letting her know she's going to run his clubs while he's overseas doing international business. So they made that introduction. Meanwhile, Tommy and Ghost is peeping um, Dre and Christoval's meeting and wondering why they're meeting there. So they're watching them, watching their moves. So from there, Dre and Ghost originally meets up at the Ghost's establishment, and Ghost approaches him basically like, well, Sandoval is, I mean not Sandoval, the brother for the Menendez cartel, he's dead, but pretty much Jason's not dead, which is the hit Dre was supposed to do. And so he pretty much told him, like, basically, I don't owe you nothing. And um, pretty much you had Kanan do that or whatever. And so he pretty much told him, no matter who I had to do it, as long as it got done or whatever. So from there, Ghost had it in his mind, okay, we need to get Dre out of here. So the whole episode, they was considering having Dre framed for the murder of the cop that killed Raina, that Tariq killed or whatever. So that was the plot. So then Tariq's situation comes in, and so he's been dealing with Kanan behind everyone's back this whole time, and he's getting closer to Kanan. Kanan teaching him how to hustle, teaching him the steps he need to go through, and now this is coming full circle. So Kanan's breaking down the product to him, and then telling him like what they taught teaching you in school. He go over what they teaching him. He said, well, they not teaching you this. So he's really taking Tariq on like his own son or whatever. So he takes Tariq to the Italians to make a deal, but he knows the Italians speak Italian language and he doesn't know that, but Tariq does. So when they're speaking that stuff, Tariq tells him, yeah, he could be trusted. And then Tariq was like, well, Kanan was like, well, what they say? And then the Italian boss pretty much looked at it like, okay, I see why you bought him. And now from there, he's still teaching Tariq the game. He give Tariq a little pack, tell him go sell it or whatever. And Tariq came back less than an hour. And then he was like, well, hold on, what you mean? Why would you why would you came back too fast or whatever? Tariq more or less like, this kid bought it, everything off me. So Kanan looked at the money was fake. So he had Tariq, they searched around, they found the guys. Tariq came out, pulled a gun on him, got his product back or whatever. So Kanan liked that type stuff, you know what I mean? Just because he teaching them the game. Early in the episode, you had Tariq and Tasha having a conversation because she's speaking with Angela. They want to frame Kanan. They don't want to go on Ghost's route and frame Dre. Tasha wants to frame Kanan because she look at him as the root of all this. So from there, Tariq's not feeling that because he's pretty much vibing with Kanan. He looks down at Ghost or whatever. So Tasha reminds Tariq some things. Basically with Sean. Sean was Kanan's son, and Kanan killed Sean or whatever. And Sean was good to Tariq, and he always wanted to protect him. So when Kanan killed him, Tariq really never forgot that. And or whatever. So Tasha reminded him of that, and then Ghost came in to speak to Tariq, and pretty much Ghost was like, "Listen, when it come down to it, I'm not going to let none of y'all take the fall. I take the fall for this situation." And then Tyreek already's been playing his head like, I don't really trust my dad. And then Ghost said, "Listen, you don't gotta trust me, but I'm telling you what it is." So from there, you had Tyreek playing in his head back and forth. Now, after Ghost left, Tasha came back and this one last time and pretty much told Tyreek, "We need to talk." So from there in the episode, you had everybody still trying to get Angela. The whole team is against Angela, trying to get her, and they're saying Teresi saying St. Patrick had something to do with the CEO's death, but they don't really got no concrete evidence. So they bring in Proctor. Now Proctor is been playing a dirty game. He pretty much like, okay, we could save everybody else. Let's just bring down Angela or whatever. And so Proctor is pretty much he has a smoking gun because he has a recording that can set all of them up, and then he just applied for immunity for himself. Now his cousin is pretty much like, "Yo, can you trust these people? Because if they family, like you don't do that or whatever." And he like, "I don't know. I think I'm on a low spectrum, but I don't think they'll snake me, but I don't know." So Proctor's been playing mixed emotions in his head the whole season, and so Proctor finds out that they have a CO that, or they have a witness that seen St. Patrick kill the CO. Now he approached Ghost, pretty much telling him, um, pretty much telling him, "Hey man, it's word that you killed the CO or whatever." Or, well, he's speaking subliminally that, hey, basically telling him it's word that the CO that you had problems with is dead. And he's saying, was it any exposure? Basically saying, did anybody see you do that? So he's serving him notice that it's potential of that. So then from there, Proctor asks him, "Well, let me in. Tell me some more information. Tell me." So he's looking for more information. Ghost doesn't trust him. So he just told him pretty much, he you only need to know basis and you don't need to know. So that's how Ghost treats him with that. And that's respect due. Because you don't know, he can't really trust him. That's just in real life. You can only tell a person partially of a situation. So you go from there to Keisha linking up with Tasha. Keisha telling Tasha, "Listen, man, y'all got me great. Lie to the grand jury. Y'all want me to lie on somebody, say that they wasn't there or whatever. Say they was there and they wasn't. And uh, that's bogus. I can't do that." So Tasha's going back and forth with her, pretty much telling her, like, you got to do this for the family. You got to do this for everybody. And she like, "Nah, I don't, I can't put an innocent there." She like, "Well, you doing it for Tommy. You saying he was there and he wasn't." Pretty much that's saved face, but Keisha thinking in her head, "Well, I mess with Tommy, that's different." And she said, "Well, Tasha's pretty much, no, that's not different. This is how I want you to play it." So in the writing of all this, they always make it like Ghost has been the one always moving pieces and strategically doing different things. But the writing has pushed back a little bit on that, and the writing has making showing other people doing the same thing. So they have already showed Kanan where he was playing chess, moving different pieces this whole episode, and playing this person against that person, playing Tariq against everybody. They show where Tasha has been moving pieces and showing her brilliance and her smarts. So now it comes full circle. So in the process, when Tariq has linked up with Kanan doing their things, they get pulled over by the cops. So no, let me rewind back some. Um in the course of going over driving with Kanan, Tariq approaches him about Sean and pretty much go Kanan is like, you know, Sean wasn't loyal, he wasn't loyal. So he's trying to say all the things that Tariq that he think that's gonna settle his mind or whatever. So he telling him, Sean wasn't loyal. I don't really know if he was my kid anyway. I ain't take the test. And then Tariq's like, yeah, but you loved him though, because Kanan said, yeah, I did love him. He said, but how you kill somebody you love? And then Kanan said, they said you're not a real killer until you do. And so then Kanan know Tariq was bothered by that, but he don't want to lose him, so he really cared for Tariq. He looking at he like, you more of a son than Sean ever was. You know what I'm saying? So he looked at Tariq as his son, like his second chance at having a mini me or whatever. Meanwhile, they're driving and the cop pulls in the back on him. So he was telling him, yeah, this never going to stop. Cops always telling. And Tariq was like, Kanan, I got the weed on me. And he said, Kanan pretty much telling him, hey, slip it underneath the seat. And he was like, pretty much telling him, this ain't like the security guard situation that you pulled a while ago. This is real life. This is the cops. So they pulled him over, and Tariq had this, disturbed look on us. So Kanan thinking, okay, um, he just, nervous because it's the cops or whatever. So what's key about this scene also is that they pretty much are teaching people when you get pulled over by the cops how you need to move, how you need to talk to the cops, and also like when the cops tell you get your registration, you tell them, "Hey, I'm reaching for my registration." They asked Tariq, "Did he have ID?" He said yeah. He said pretty much, "Yo, um, he's reaching for his ID." So from there, they said, "Can we check your card?" And then uh, Kanan said, "What for? You're not gonna find anything." So they popped the trunk. When they popped the trunk, nothing was there. When he popped the trunk, Kanan said nothing there. However, Ghost came. It flashes to Ghost at the house, and he goes into the safe, and the gun is not there. So Ghost is like, "Yo, I seen you put this gun in there. Where's the gun?" And uh, he's like, "Where's the gun?" And then now she's breaking to the gun is with Tariq. And then she like, "What you mean with Tariq?" And Ghost is disturbed. And he's telling her that the gun is with Tariq. And he's like, "Where's Tariq?" And she's like, "He with Kanan." And now Ghost is really like, "Oh no, what are you doing? Like, Kanan's a monster. He's not gonna go out like that. He's going." So when the cops tell Kanan it's a gun in the car, he like, "Oh, it's a 380 or whatever." And then Kanan like, "That's a bitch gun, like, you know what I mean, or whatever." So now they say, uh, they look at Tariq and say, you know, this gun is pretty much like saying he's been kidnapped and he's under distress or whatever. And then Kanan like, "Nah, he came here on his own free will. I ain't kidnap him. Tell him." And then Tariq looks him down, and a moment of truth comes. He tells the cops that he wasn't there under on his own will, free will. He was there under false pretense. He was under kidnapped by Kanan. So now at this moment, Kanan sees that Tariq set him up. He knows Tariq is setting him up right now. And so from there, um, Kanan tells the cops, listen, don't put the cuffs on too tight. I mean, I've done this before. So they had already put Tariq in a car or whatever. Two other cops pulled up. So it's about 4 or 5 cops. I think about 4 cops. And Kanan do a swift move on a cop, kills him, and then kills another cop. And then there was 2 cops left. So they got one shot off on Kanan. Kanan goes and I think they shot him in his arm or something first, and then another cop shot him uh, in his stomach or something like that. And so Kanan was able to get the shots off, killed the other cop. He got back to his car, got 2 guns, and he really went off or whatever. So he managed to make it to the last cop, and he killed that cop. But when he did, Tariq couldn't get out of the back of the car and run because they locked him in. So now Tariq like, oh shit, I'm in the back here. Kanan comes up. Now, at this moment, Kanan could go in the car. Excuse me. He could go in the cop car, and kill Tariq because you set him up. But even at that moment, he still looked at him as his mini me and didn't hold it against him. And Kanan didn't kill the last cop, but looked at Tariq the whole time. Kanan is wounded and walks off. So now at this point, you're looking at, oh, here we go again. If you think back to a few seasons ago when Ghost and Kanan fought, and then Ghost got the best of him and then locked him in a burning building in a steel door, and then it showed the door off the hinges, and Kanan got lived off of that. So now you was left with, oh, here we go again. This bogus stuff great happening again. He lives through this. So Kanan gets in the car and the cop car and attempts to drive off, but in the process of that, he spits up blood. So he's fatally wounded at this time. He drives off probably a few yards and drives off the road, and then he dies. Kanan dies. Powerful scene. They shot that well. 50 did his thing. Salute to 50 on that. Salute to 50 allowing his character to get killed off of this show. Now the show will go on and he can focus on the other shows that he got in plan. But salute to 50 on that powerful scene. He went out like a G on that mode. And what this did is now shapes the mode of Tariq. So after that, it shows Tasha and Ghost at the police station. They bring in Tariq, and then now they're brought in for questioning, and the script is all playing out. Tariq said what he had to say. Tasha said what she had to say. Keisha showed up, made her statement, said that, yeah, she seen Kanan at the wake. He definitely could have slipped in and stole the gun or whatever. So people start to think, well, when did Tariq have time to slip the gun into the car? Well, what happened was, it was a moment when Kanan had Tariq with the drugs in the back of the car, and Kanan left, and Tariq was the one who closed the trunk, and that's when he slipped it in right there. So everything fell into place on that, and then it showed Angela Valdez show up with the box right after that. Now that Brighton part right there was kind of cheesy, that she would show up right when they was there at the station. So right after they got done talking to them, that kind of was like, I didn't like that part. It was like they could have did that a different way because that looks too set up. So from there you had But they already had all this plan with Tariq and set up. So from there, as Angela's walking down with the box of stuff from the that the case that they had on the old detective, the dirty cop that killed Raina, Tasha has the smirk on her face as she's walking. Now Angela is walking to give the internal investigations, internal affairs cop that wants Angela to go down. She gives her the box and said, just turns out that he was just a dirty cop. And you're right, this is below my pay grade. Gives her the box. The internal affairs cop is looking at her like, you B. Angela looking back at her like, yeah, I got you, B. Now Angela walks off with her smirk in her face. In scene, in comes Tommy and Ghost. Now they're getting ready they're at the morgue to view the body of Kanan. And it shows a dead Kanan on a slab. And Tommy pretty much, but the seeds was planted in Tommy's mind that Ghost is picking everybody off. But at the time, Tommy don't even know Ghost don't have nothing to do with this Kanan situation. Like he was really looking at Kanan like, you saved me and my son when you could have killed us. All right, I ain't got no problems with you. I'm gonna keep it moving. And Ghost really believed that or whatever. But nobody don't believe that. So Tommy doesn't either. Tommy like, nah, Kanan seen this coming. He's seen it. You plucking us all off. So now it's friction between Ghost and Tommy pretty much looking at like, I can't trust you. You might be trying to kill me. And then Ghost is telling him, listen, man, you you can't believe I had something to do with this. This was Tasha. This wasn't my play. And Tommy doesn't believe it. You know what I'm saying? And it was a moment they was going to set Dre up and they was going to kill him, but Tommy could have had him, but he didn't do it or whatever because Ghost wasn't there. So, he fell back on it. So that's going to be interesting. Like 2 episodes left for this season. So that's going to be interesting to see how that play out between Ghost and Tommy or whatever. But it also shows that they took Ghost asked Kanan to get back the head of the Menendez brothers, the Menendez brothers' head. So what they did when flash backward when I was said that Ghost and Dre had the conversation, he told Ghost, I don't owe you anything. Pretty much Ghost, when he got the head back from Kanan, he took the head and put it in the freezer of the hotel that Dre not the hotel, the club that Dre worked for. So that's going to set off alarms because Dre thinks now that the brother is out of the way, the sister's going to 100% confide in him and everything, but she wanted her brother dead anyway. So nevertheless, it's not a good look that the head of the Menendez cartel shows up in the club that Dre is part of. So it's not a good look. So that's going to cause turmoil on Dre. It kind of takes Dre that pretty boy image, that clean cut image. It kind of throws some stains on his image with that situation happen. So we're gonna see how that playing out or whatever. So right now, two episodes left. Damn good episode. This is probably one of the better episodes. I said at the beginning of this video, this was the best episode I watched. They really put it together. I disagree. I agreed with everything they did, except the little stuff that's just me critiquing. Damn good episode. Looking forward to the next 2 episodes. Subscribe and like. Share this video. Stay tuned to next week. for the next review recap of Power. We building. Till next time.